We're back for the third and final segment of the DMZ America podcast for Tuesday, October 31st, 2023. I'm Scott Stantis coming to you from the right.
And I'm Ted Rall coming to you from the left.
So it's Halloween. Do you do anything?
Do I do anything? No, because I live in an apartment, so there's no trick-or-treaters to worry about.
There's not? They don't have the kids in the building, don't?
Well, it hasn't happened so far. I've been here a few years.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, so New
What
York.
do they do with the children? I don't want to know. Go on.
No, they usually go to stores. That's the funny part. They go to shops.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And Manhattan's a weird place.
Okay.
And not to mention, well, honestly, the big thing to do in Manhattan is to go to the Greenwich Village Halloween Day Parade. That's like spectacular.
Yeah.
The costumes, people really do it up. So they close some of the streets, and you admire the extremely over. I mean, come on, this is the town where Broadway is. So there's a lot of actors. There's some pretty amazing costumes.
So fabulous.
Totally fabulous.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Do you ever go?
I have been, but it's been many, many years. It's one of those things like you do it, you're like, I'm really glad I went, but I don't need to do that anymore.
Okay.
And I'm not a big fan of parades in general.
No, I'm not either. You stand there and watch things walk by.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay, so last subject of this podcast, the 14th Amendment. There's a case up in Colorado where they're trying to use the 14th Amendment to ban former President Donald Trump from the ballot. I don't know about this, Ted. I mean, I'm a never Trump Republican. I'm not even a Republican much anymore, but let's pretend for a moment. The 14th Amendment thing, I mean, really? Because first of all, it doesn't say that he or she has to be convicted. Is that correct? I mean,
That is correct. Basically, Section 3 of the 14th Amendment says that anyone who has participated in an insurrection, engaged in an insurrection, is not eligible to run for president of the United States. So you don't have to be convicted; you just have to be deemed to have engaged in an insurrection. But Scott, you're a student of history, and I don't think in the historical meaning of the term insurrection that January 6th qualifies. I mean, when I think of an insurrection, I'm not even sure something like John Brown would qualify. I think they were thinking about things I think they were thinking about things like Aaron Burr's attempt to separate New England from the United States, or Shays Whiskey Rebellion. And of course, obviously the Confederacy. I think they're thinking about actual attempts to overthrow the government. I mean, if you push, I think it's useful always in these scenarios to go to the nth degree. Let's just say that the Capitol Hill rioters had gotten in and like stopped the counting of the electoral vote, and let's just say they had killed all the members of Congress that they caught. That still doesn't make them the new government of the United States. It just doesn't. You know what I mean? Like the government hasn't changed at that point. I mean, it's a horrible thing, but it's not an insurrection.
Is it?
I'd like to say, theoretically, yeah.
Okay, well, they clearly wanted to overturn an election. In my mind, especially in a democracy like our own, that would be overthrowing the government. I think it fits into that. But the fact that, now the trial is going on with Trump, what did he think and when did he think it, seems to be what this is. Did you hear he stormed out of court today? He got annoyed.
As he does.
Yes, and stormed out because he could. I just think this is Democratic stake trying to keep Donald Trump off the ballot.
Oh, no question about it. And here's the thing, you don't want to be the dog that caught the car here. I mean, what if they succeed? I mean, it's like, what is that going to do to our fractured republic? I mean, let's just say it's like story comes out like, so U.S. Supreme Court confirms Bush, Trump removed from the ballot. I mean, Republicans are going to lose their fucking minds. I mean, what? It's like over this like this passage from the 14th Amendment. It's a relic, right? I mean, let's not forget President Andrew Johnson in 1865 signed a blanket amnesty for everyone who had fought for the Confederacy or served in the Confederate government. Now, that's not the same thing as saying, okay, we're going to let you serve in the Union government. But the fact is, it's like, it's sort of like, let's just put it this way: reasonable minds can differ. I think what happened January 6th was we can say for sure a riot, it's a civil disturbance for sure. And the question is, and look, obviously the prosecutors, the plaintiffs in this case, I should say, since it's a civil claim, they started out with testimony by a guy who was who was a victim of the January 6th uprising. So obviously they're trying to make the case that it's insurrection. They realize that that's where the weakness of their case might be. So they're trying to plug that hole. And so, the question is, was that an insurrection or not? Reasonable minds can disagree, but what's Terry is that, like, this could be, state by state. You just take Trump off the ballot in 6 key states.
And let's bring it down to Mississippi and Alabama, which this is where things get where politics go to get weird. They could conceivably say that Joe Biden. I mean, they could make all sorts of very twisted logic to say that Joe Biden has tried to overturn. He overturned an election. He was fraudulently elected, so hence he should not be on the ballot. And my God, what the can of worms that this opens up is
just like you've been saying about the impeachments. I mean, you were right. You said, "Oh, every president's going to be impeached." I mean, Biden's about to be impeached, probably.
Well, and this may be, frankly, may actually be justified for the first time in a long time.
True.
How many Bidens are living in the White House right now, by the way? Because it just seems that every time you see one, it's like, yeah, they live in the White House with their, great Uncle Joe. Yep. How many Bidens am I supporting?
Dangerous dog.
That's the other thing. My God, I mean, I love dogs. Ted and I have a debate, and earlier in this podcast is probably as passionate as we've ever gotten when we're not talking about which is better, dogs or cats.
True.
But honest to God, Ted, if I had a dog that did that and bit people consistently, dog's gone. Dog, where's Barfy? Oh, he's on a farm running free where he can be happy and bites Secret Service men to his heart's content. No, if you have an animal that is biting people, bye-bye.
Yeah, and the fact that he's a big ass German Shepherd.
It's a German Shepherd, the meanest dog you can get.
He's not like a nippy little shitty little fuck poodle.
I don't understand that.
Ass fucking major land shark.
Ron Swanson character on Parks and Rec said, first off, just doing a call in on a television show, but when someone calls in and says, my 40-pound dog, he says, first of all, ditch the dog. Any dog under 40 pounds is a cat's, and cats are worthless. I don't disagree with that line of logic. But if I had a dog that bit people, can we agree on this? I think we found common ground, Ted.
Yeah, we have common ground. I mean, obviously, I don't begrudge people who, can't afford a cat or aren't intelligent enough to have a cat, or who aren't ethical enough or made in God's image enough to have a cat. People, the world needs losers too. But they could have their dog. Oh, that's what I was waiting for. Hold on a second. Give me a minute.
Okay, what you just heard there was Ted being called for another interview because apparently it's more important than his own podcast, apparently. So, Ted, where can we see things, all things Ted Rall?
You can go to rall.com, whowhatwhy.org, sputniknews.com. You can listen to my co-hosted radio show Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon on Sputnik Radio or on Rumble. Probably Rumble's easier. And
you can stream it.
Find all things Scott.
Go to gocomics.com/Scott Standis, gocomic.com/Prickly City to see my comic strip. You can go to Center Clip and hear short podcasts. It's a wonderful service. You should sign up for it. It is free. And all that being said, we got to rush off because Ted has other people he wants to talk to who he likes more than us.
Well, they have cats. Okay.
Love you, brother. Talk to you later.
All right, Scott. Love you too. Bye.
Bye.